Hello and welcome to the third rail. I was about to take the 3071 set I have in the collection out for a spin, and I thought I'd use the opportunity to film the setup process and share a few basics about the set and its operation. So my model was produced in the early 80s. It's based on a prototype of a Ram 502 train which was operating between Amsterdam and Zurich until the early 70s. So let's open the box and have a look at what's inside. My model is still in a very good condition. I'd even dare to say that it's in a mint condition. It's hardly been used. So the set is composed of three items. We have a motorized unit, an intermediate car, and a dummy for the other end of the train. Each of the dummy and the motorized unit have a pickup shoe. There is conductivity across the entire train so that current is provided from one or the other pickup shoe depending on the direction of travel. So the model is very nice, but it's very fragile. First of all, the body is made of plastic, which is very thin, and it's becoming more and more brittle with age. It's very easy to scratch it or even break parts of it when handling the model. The windows are another weak point. The glue that holds them to the body is becoming weaker with age as well, and it's very easy simply by grabbing the model to dislodge an entire row of windows. So something to be mindful about when handling the model. I'm going to have a look at the motorized unit first, because the last time I used this set, the motor started to squeak just before I took the set off the rails. So we're going to have a look inside and do a bit of oiling. So I'll be careful not to damage anything. Let's wrap the model in the little cloth and we're off to the bench. So let's have a closer look at the motorized unit. It's a pretty standard Märklin arrangement for anything produced in that era. So we have one bogie that provides the pickup and another bogie that drives the unit. I think the motor is on the right hand side. Yes, it is. And to access it, I'm going to have to remove the body or lift the body shell. To do this, I need to loosen a single screw on the side of the unit just above the little electrical connector where I'm pointing to with my screwdriver. So we're going to do that. I'm going to fast forward. You don't need to watch me take my time unscrewing something. I'm just going to finish removing the screw with my fingers because I don't want to drop it inside the body shell. There we go. We're done. We're now ready to lift the body. And lifting it is not a particularly complicated operation. We need to lift the side of the body where the screw was located and shift it to the left, and the body will come straight up. So we're lifting and then pushing a bit, and that's it. The body is free and the chassis is accessible for the next task. So before I go further, I'll simply wrap the body in the paper and cloth, and I'm going to put it to the side somewhere safe where it doesn't risk being damaged by accident. Let's have a look at the chassis. So technically we are still in a pretty standard arrangement for a Märklin product of the time. We have a standard 3-pole flat collector motor, a reverser mounted sideways to fit within the space available in the model. The only difference is the wiring of the pickup shoe, which is not connected directly to the motor, but in fact it goes to the reverser first and then onto the motor, and that's to facilitate this switching of active pickup shoe depending on the direction of travel. So if you want, the wiring is done in reverse compared to a standard Märklin locomotive of the time, and depending on the direction of travel, one or the other light bulb will be lit. So this difference in wiring plays a role in the way you connect the cars to each other. We'll see this later. So now let's have a quick look at fixing the little issue of squeaking I noticed the last time I used it. I just need to add a drop of oil on each end of the motor armature shaft. I'll just apply them directly to the shafts, and also I'll put a few drops of oil in the reservoirs located on each side of the motor housing, and I'll apply some oil on the gears as well for good measure, and then I'll be ready to reassemble the unit. So let's grab the body shell back. If you look at the front of the chassis, there are two little pegs which we can see now. They need to be inserted into corresponding holes in the nose of the body shell. So we just need to gently place the body on the chassis, pull the shell back a bit to make sure that the pegs are inserted properly. Then we just need to push down the other end of the body shell, and everything should be aligned to allow the insertion of the holding screw or mounting screw that holds everything together, and it is. So time to get the screw and screwdriver. Just reassemble everything, trying not to drop the screw in the body, which is one of my specialty. And we are now back in business, and we should be ready to go. I'll just do a quick test to make sure that I have conductivity and that the unit is moving. And it is. Great. So we can assemble the consist now. Now the intermediate car is equipped with a plug on one side and a connector on the other side. The electrical connectors need to be inserted in a certain way to conduct the current to the right place at the other end of the train. Now if you look at the connector, there's a little rounded edge to them, and it always needs to be inserted pointing upwards. If you don't, then your train will not work properly. Basically, the train might work properly in one direction, but as soon as you try to run it in the other direction, it might stop responding to the throttle. That's a common mistake with that set. Another thing that's different with that set are the couplings. It's an arrangement of a male and female coupling. The male side has a little lever which engages a hook when you slide it from one side to the other. You can see in the middle of the little fork there's a little hook that engages, and on the other side of the intermediate carriage that we're looking at the moment, there's the other type of coupling, which is a simple metal plate with a little rivet around which the hook from the other type of coupling should engage and lock to keep things together. Parts of those couplings get bent from time to time. If you buy stuff second-hand, you're likely to encounter this type of issues, so it's good to check that everything is straight before trying to assemble the set. So I've got a plug coming out of the motorized unit, so I need to turn the intermediate car around so that I have a connector facing the motorized unit. I can then insert the plug with the round edge pointing up. Then I need to align the couplings as best as possible. Everything is quite tiny, so it's a bit fiddly, and then I just need to push the two parts of the set together so that they're as close as possible. There we go. And now I need to try and find the lever, trying to avoid the bodywork as much as possible with my fingers, and then slide it in to the left or right, I can't remember, until the two parts are firmly attached together. So Märklin produced an intermediate car for that set. I think it's model number 4071. Yes, that's it. So it's the same as the intermediate car. The only difference is that there is no Trans-Europe Express logo on the side. But as you can see, it's equipped with the same type of connectors and plugs and couplings. There's no interior lighting in that one, if you're asking yourself the question. So we'll rail this one, same procedure as before, and exactly as fiddly as before. And after a bit more adjusting and pushing, pulling in all sorts of places, we're ready for the dummy. Again, mindful of not touching the body too much with my fingers. Rail the unit. Try and align things as best as possible. Turn the connector the right way up. Try to find the holes of the connector. Then align the coupling and try and find the lever under the chassis, and we're ready to go, and hopefully we've done a good job. We'll soon find out. Basically, it's just a matter of trying to send the train in one direction or the other, and if everything changes moves as expected, then the assembly was successful. And it was in this case. What a faff. But it's nice to look at. For now, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. It's very much appreciated. I'd also like to thank the existing and recent subscribers to the channel. I'm still surprised that people are interested in my production, so much so that they subscribe to the channel and sometimes give me a like. It's very rewarding and keeps me going. Thanks very much again. Bye for now.